Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We begin in the name of Almighty Allah, the most magnificent, the ever merciful. We glorify Him, we praise Him, and of course we elevate His name as He ought to be elevated. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I extend to you the eternal and of course the universal salutation of peace. May the peace, blessings and mercies of Almighty Allah be upon you. Well, a most pleasant good morning going out to you on this beautiful, beautiful Friday morning. Of course, it is number one, the day of Jum'ah. It is also the day before Eid al-Adha, which is known as the day of Yawm al-Arafah, the most blessed day on the Islamic calendar. Blessing upon blessing. I pray and hope that you are healthy, you are well, and you are enjoying a period of happiness and prosperity, a period of well-being. I'm your host and brother in humanity, Imam Safraz Ghani, here in your company on this auspicious and holy day of Friday, the day of Jum'ah here in Trinidad and Tobago, the day preceding the day of Eid al-Adha, which of course will be tomorrow. May Almighty Allah continue to bless you and yours. Jummah Mubarak going out to you and yours. And also a very, very special Eid Mubarak greetings as well going out to you and yours. Before we go any further, I want to take the opportunity, of course, to say a very special thank you going out to Pandit Jeevan Hari Prasad for all those beautiful and those wonderful words of inspiration and motivation. And as we always tend to do here on the program, we most definitely do wish him a safe and a speedy trip back home. All praises are due to Almighty Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the magnificent, the merciful, Master of the Day of Judgment. O Allah, it is you do we worship, and from you only do we ask for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those upon whom you have bestowed your favor. Not the path of those who have evoked your anger, nor the path of those who have gone astray. Ameen Ya Rabbil Alameen. Well, today's Islamic date, like I've mentioned before, is the 9th day in the month of Dhul Hijjah, which of course is the 12th month on the Islamic calendar. We are currently in the year 1446. And of course, on the Islamic calendar, today is indeed the most spiritual, the most blessed day on the Islamic calendar. The 9th day of the month of Dhul Hijjah, the day before the Eid al-Adha celebration, is considered to be the most blessed day on the Islamic calendar. That day, of course, is today, and it also coincides with a Friday. So like I mentioned before, blessing upon blessing. May Almighty Allah continue to shower upon us His blessings and His mercies. Today also coincides with the very first Friday in the month of June 2025. And of course, as we begin our day of Jum'ah, this very special day of Jum'ah, as we begin this very special day of Yawm al-Arafah here in Trinidad and Tobago, of course, I want to take the opportunity to welcome you officially live on air, live on the internet, live across all social feeds as well for this weekly program titled Soul Inspirations, your program for inspiration, information, education and entertainment. Definitely do stick around. I've got lots to share with you. Like I've mentioned before, tomorrow would be the day of Eid. So pertaining to Eid, the Eid celebrations, what it's all about, pertaining to the Hajj, what does that actually entail as well? That will be our central point for our program this morning. So definitely do stick around. This is Soul Inspirations right here on 103.1 FM.
Ramadan has come and gone. Eid has dawned upon us. Thank you, Allah, for this blessed day. It's a time of happiness, a time of joy. Thank you, Allah, for this blessed day. Eidun Sa'idun, Yawmun Farhanun, Yawmun Jamilun, Eidun Sa'id, Eidun Sa'idun, Yawmun Jamilun, Yawmun Farhanun, Eidun Sa'id. All over the world, under the big blue sky, Muslims unite to worship Allah. It's a time of brotherhood, a time of peace. Muslims are singing praises to Allah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Walillahil hamd. Families song remembering Allah, and that His love is the greatest by far. All praise for you, Allah, all thanks to you. The joy of Eid comes only from you. Eid Sa'id, Yawmun Farhan, Yawmun Jamilun, Eid Sa'id, Eid Sa'id, Yawmun Jamilun, Yawmun Farhanun, Eid Sa'id. This day of rejoicing, this day of peace, did only you make for those who believe. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd. Eid Sa'id, Yawmun Farhan, Yawmun Jamilun, Eid Sa'id, Eid Sa'id, Yawmun Jamilun, Yawmun Farhanun, Eid Sa'id, Eid Sa'id, Yawmun Farhanun, Yawmun Jamilun, Eid Sa'id, Eid Sa'id, Yawmun Jamilun, Yawmun Farhanun, Eid Sa'id, 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 Eid Sa'id.
Yes, indeed, Eid Mubarak going out to you and yours. Of course, tomorrow would be the day of Eid al-Adha, the very special occasion of the celebration of the sacrifice on the Islamic calendar. Today being the 9th day of the month of Dhul Hijjah, the day before Eid al-Adha. This day is considered to be the holiest day on the Islamic calendar. It is a day of blessing, a day of mercy, a day of worship, a day of charity, a day of togetherness, brotherhood, and so on and so forth. May Almighty Allah continue to bless us on this very, very special day. Of course, you are tuned in to Soul Inspirations right here on 103.1 FM with yours truly, Imam Safraz Ghani. And as always, I must say it's indeed an absolute honor and of course a personal pleasure to be in your company for around about the next hour or so. The program this morning, of course, is being brought to you through the kind courtesies of Adams Project Management and Construction Limited, Absolute Investments Limited, Nicer Brand Products Limited, The Original Barbecue Hut Limited, Trinilink Solutions Limited, and Point 14 Hardware Limited. Of course, on the program this morning, we've got a very, very interesting segment lined up for you. Well, first up, we've got our short inspirational segment coming up in a very, very short bit. We've got the early morning call to prayer as well. And of course, I'll be sharing with you a few beautiful Islamic selections. Later on in the program, I'll be talking about Hajj. I'll be explaining some of the rituals of Hajj. Of course, this is the season of Hajj. As a matter of fact, as we speak right now, the pilgrims, those people who would have made the journey to the holy city of Mecca, they are now going through the rituals of Hajj. So this morning, I want to take the time to explain some of those rituals. The significance of those rituals. What does Hajj actually entail? What does it actually mean? In the life of a Muslim, and so on and so forth. So that will be our central discussion point for this morning. So definitely, it's a pleasure to have you on board once again. Eid Mubarak going out to you and yours. May Almighty Allah continue to bless us all with goodness in this life as well as in the life of the hereafter.
अल्लाह ही अल्लाह किया करो, दुख न किसी को दिया करो, जो दुनिया का मालिक है नाम उसी का लिया करो. अल्लाह ही अल्लाह, अल्लाह ही अल्लाह, अल्लाह ही अल्लाह किया करो, दुख न किसी को दिया करो, जो दुनिया का मालिक है नाम उसी का लिया करो. अल्लाह ही अल्लाह, Allah, Allah, you are the one who we turn to. You are the one who we call to. Allah, you are the one who helps us through. When life's hard, we depend on you. We depend on you. You're the one who answers our du'as. You're the only one who heals broken hearts. So keep us on Sirat al-Mustaqim. अल्लाह ही अल्लाह किया करो, दुख न किसी को दिया करो। जो दुनिया का मालिक है, नाम उसी का लिया करो। अल्लाह ही अल्लाह, अल्लाह ही अल्लाह, अल्लाह ही अल्लाह किया करो, दुख न किसी को दिया करो। जो दुनिया का मालिक है, नाम उसी का लिया करो। अल्लाह ही अल्लाह, Allah, Allah. You are the one who cares for us. You're always there for us, Lord. Our love for you shines brighter than the stars. You are the one who's always there for us. When we walk to you, you come running to us. You're the one who answers our du'as. You're the only one who heals broken hearts. So keep us on Sirat al-Mustaqim. Allah ही अल्लाह किया करो, दुख न किसी को दिया करो। जो दुनिया का मालिक है, नाम उसी का लिया करो। अल्लाह ही अल्लाह, अल्लाह ही अल्लाह, अल्लाह ही अल्लाह किया करो, दुख न किसी को दिया करो। जो दुनिया का मालिक है, नाम उसी का लिया करो। अल्लाह ही अल्लाह, अल्लाह ही अल्लाह, अल्लाह ही अल्लाह किया करो। अल्लाह ही अल्लाह किया करो, दुख न किसी को दिया करो। दुख न किसी को दिया करो, दुख न किसी को दिया करो। अल्लाह ही अल्लाह किया करो, दुख न किसी को दिया करो। जो दुनिया का मालिक है, नाम उसी का लिया करो। नाम उसी का लिया करो। अल्लाह ही अल्लाह किया करो, दुख न किसी को दिया करो। जो दुनिया का मालिक है, नाम उसी का लिया करो। अल्लाह ही अल्लाह, Allah ही अल्लाह, Allah ही अल्लाह किया करो, दुख न किसी को दिया करो। जो दुनिया का मालिक है, नाम उसी का लिया करो। Allah ही अल्लाह, Allah ही अल्लाह। Allah ही अल्लाह किया करो, दुख न किसी को दिया करो। जो दुनिया का मालिक है, नाम उसी का लिया करो। नाम उसी का लिया करो। अल्लाह ही अल्लाह किया करो, दुख न किसी को दिया करो। जो दुनिया का मालिक है, नाम उसी का लिया करो। अल्लाह ही अल्लाह, अल्लाह ही अल्लाह, अल्लाह ही अल्लाह किया करो, दुख न किसी को दिया करो। जो दुनिया का मालिक है, नाम उसी का लिया करो। अल्लाह ही अल्लाह, अल्लाह ही अल्लाह।
Yes, indeed, on this very, very special day, the day of Jum'ah, the day of Yawm al-Arafah, leading up to the day of Eid al-Adha, which will be tomorrow. Of course, we take the opportunity to, thank Almighty Allah for this wonderful day, this day filled with blessing, this day filled with mercy, and of course, forgiveness. And of course, as we look forward to another day in our lives, it is important, it is absolutely important that you give thanks for life. Even if you are sick, even if you are unhappy today, even if you are going through such a very hard time, make it a habit of looking for the good things, the beautiful things that life has to offer. The beautiful things that Almighty Allah has blessed you with, even if they may seem insignificant in your eyes. The fact that you are living, you are breathing, you are capable of loving others. You are alive and able to move around. You have access to all of your faculties. that is reason enough to celebrate. That is reason enough to give thanks to the Almighty. And life itself has a funny way of teaching us. Sometimes we are presented with sadness so we can truly appreciate happiness. Sometimes we are presented with chaos in our lives so that we can truly appreciate the peaceful times. Sometimes our loved ones are taken away from us so that we can truly appreciate what their presence mean to us in our lives. So life itself is a whole battleship of ups and downs. It is all about remaining connected with the Almighty, remaining grounded in your spirituality, and those two things will deliver you to where you have to be. So once again, on this very special day, the day of Yawm al-Arafah, the 9th day of the month of Dhul Hijjah, leading up to the Eid al-Adha, which will be tomorrow, I want to take the opportunity to say to you, of course, Eid Mubarak, blessings upon blessings. May your day, may your weekend be filled with happiness and prosperity and goodness. And may Almighty Allah continue to guide us towards all that is good in this life as well as in the life of the hereafter. I also want to take the opportunity as well to say a very special thank you going out to the sponsors. The program this morning is being brought to you through the kind courtesies of Adams Project Management and Construction Limited, Absolute Investments Limited, Nicer Brand Products Limited, The Original Barbecue Hut Limited, Trinilink Solutions Limited, and Point 14 Hardware Limited. Well, with that being said, our inspirational segment is literally just around the corner. So definitely do keep it locked on to 103.1 FM. This is Soul Inspirations. So this morning we draw our inspiration from the life and from the sacrifice of the Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him. A very famous incident, a very, very famous occurrence during his life. You would have heard it many, many times. It is an incident that is repeated year after year. What is the incident? Of course, he would have seen in his dream, a strange dream. Initially, he was unsure how to interpret that dream. In the dream, he was being asked by the Almighty to sacrifice that which was most beloved to him. Eventually, when he thought about it, he realized that the most beloved thing to him was his son. So he was being asked by Almighty Allah to sacrifice his son. His son also came on board. And both father and son said to themselves that, if this is the desire of Allah, if this is the command of Allah, then we will try our very best to carry out this desire, this command of Almighty Allah. And both father and son agreed that this one act should be carried out. So that's basically the incident. And of course, we know what happened afterwards. As he was there with his son on the ground about to offer him in sacrifice, Almighty Allah said, don't sacrifice your son. We did not want you to sacrifice your son. We wanted to see how far you would go. We wanted to see, quite simply, what is more dear to you. Is it that the world is more dear to you, or the pleasure of the Almighty? And that is our lesson for this morning. Eventually, Almighty Allah sent a ram from heaven, and he was ordered to sacrifice that particular lamb in the name of Allah instead than sacrificing his son. So our inspirational message this morning is, sometimes it is extremely important that you get your marbles right, so to speak. You get your priorities right. And if you are able to make sacrifices in the name of Almighty Allah, Almighty Allah will take care of you and He will deliver you. If you are able to give preference to your connectivity with Allah first, if you're able to give connectivity to your spirituality, you are able to give preference to your spirituality, then all in life will fall in place. The big question is, what is a sacrifice? Well, a sacrifice at its core means giving up something valuable for the sake of someone or something else. Giving up something valuable, whether it is time, comfort, desires, or worldly possessions. Giving up of those things for someone else or something else. And it is not just about loss, it is about purpose. It is not about pain, rather it is about progress. And everything in life requires sacrifice. Very rarely would you find something that you are not required to sacrifice for. Anything that is valuable and that is worth achieving in this life has connected with it a certain level of sacrifice. Anything that is valuable, anything that is achievable is connected to what? Sacrifice. And when you are called upon to make that sacrifice, that is where you are then tested. You are then put in a position to decide what is more valuable, what is more important, one thing or the other. And every day of our lives, we are called upon to make sacrifices. But that person who is able to make those sacrifices with a smile on his face, he's able to make those sacrifices without complaining, without comparing to himself with another individual. He's able to withstand those sacrifices for the pleasure of Allah, with the mentality of building his character, with the mentality of strengthening his relationships, and with the mentality of growth. That is the individual who would come out on the other end of that sacrifice a successful person. On the other hand, there is that particular individual who, when he's faced or when he's called upon to make sacrifices, immediately he becomes dejected. He starts complaining. He starts comparing himself to others, and he starts questioning the Almighty. Oh Allah, why is it that I am being called upon to make sacrifice and not my neighbor? Why is it that I am being called upon to make sacrifice and not my other family members? And the questions can go on and on. That individual, at the end of that particular sacrifice, comes out in a worse position than when he initially started. No great success comes without sacrifice. I want you to remember that. And that is quite simply my message to you this morning. Just like the Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, he had to sacrifice in many instances. The eventuality of it all was that Almighty Allah kept his remembrance, kept his memory alive in all of humanity to come until the final hour. Every single year during this particular period on the Islamic calendar, we speak about what? We speak about the sacrifices of the Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, and his family. Such an elevated position was given to him and his family. Why? Because of that particular mentality. The mentality that I will sacrifice. If I am called upon to make a sacrifice, my first understanding is that I am being called upon to make that sacrifice for my benefit. Not because I am being degraded. Not because I'm being tortured. Simply because Almighty Allah wants to put me through the mill, so to speak, so that I can come out on the other side a better individual and a better person. So during these very, very holy days, it is important to understand that particular message. When you are called upon to make a sacrifice, keep in mind why you are making that sacrifice. Start small. Certain sacrifices aren't always grand. Be consistent. Celebrate your growth. And above all, whatever you are going through in life, whether good or bad, whether up or down, whatever you are going through in life, it depends all on your mentality. And if you can remain humble, you can remain connected, and you can remain grounded, your sacrifice will not go in vain. On the other hand, if your mentality is not right, even if you make all the sacrifices upon the face of the earth, they will amount to nil, because at the end of it all, you would not have accomplished anything possible, anything positive upon the face of the earth. May Almighty Allah guide us, and may we be guided towards everything that is good in this life as well as in the life of the hereafter. Well, at this point on the program, we now go to the early morning call to prayer. The early morning call to prayer is being brought to you this morning through the kind courtesies of Absolute Investments Limited of Monroe Road in Cunupia. The program this morning is being brought to you through the kind courtesies of Adams Project Management and Construction Limited, Absolute Investments Limited of Monroe Road in Cunupia, Nicer Brand Products Limited, The Original Barbecue Hut Limited, TriniLink Solutions Limited, and Point 14 Hardware Limited. Once again, Eid Mubarak going out to you and yours. Eid al-Adha Mubarak. That is, of course, tomorrow would be the day of Eid. May Almighty Allah continue to bless you and yours with everything that is good in this life as well as in the life of the hereafter. Coming up in a very short bit, we've got our lecture segment, and this morning we are talking about Hajj specifically. We are going to go through some of the rituals of Hajj. What is the significance of Hajj itself? What is the meaning of Hajj itself? So definitely do stick around. You're listening to Soul Inspirations right here on 103.1 FM with yours truly, Imam Safraz Ghani.
في ليلة من الليالي لست أدري ما تراني ظلمة تغمرني يا رب. الأرض ضاقت والسماء وقلبي ما رفض ضياء والدمع بات يبكي يا إلهي يا إلهي يا إلهي يا إلهي يا إلهي. عصيت والذنب كبير وإني في حزني أسير مقيد بذنبي يا رب. فهل أستحق يا إلهي العفو مجرما مقر بالذنوب معي، لكنني نأيت عنك، نسيت ما قد كان لك، وسرت في طريق يا إلهي يا إلهي يا إلهي يا إلهي يا إلهي. أنت الذي خلقتني، رحمتني ورزقتني، دوما يا ربي قد كنت معي، لكنني نأيت عنك، نسيت ما قد كان لك، وسرت في طريق يا إلهي يا إلهي يا إلهي يا إلهي يا إلهي. واليوم يا ربي أعود من ظلمة خلف الحدود، فالقلب منكسر وطرفي حائر، وأنا الغريق فلا أرى إلا سواك لمنقذا، لا منجا ولا منجا إلا أنت يا إلهي 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 يا إلهي.
Indeed, a wonderful phrase. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik. Inna alhamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. This is a phrase that the people who are indeed performing the pilgrimage will continue to repeat it at, and it actually means Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, that, oh Allah, here I am present. Oh Allah, I am present in your court. Inna alhamd, verily all praise, all blessing, all sovereignty belong to you, and there is none worthy of worship but you. There is none that can compare to you. Such a beautiful phrase that is repeated time and time again when people perform the Hajj, when people perform the pilgrimage. Well, on that note, we now get into our lecture segment, and like I mentioned before, this morning we are talking about the Hajj. This is, of course, the period of Hajj. We are now well within the days of Hajj. Those people who are performing the Hajj, they are now going through the rituals of Hajj. So what does Hajj actually mean? What is the significance of Hajj? So the first thing that I want to put out there is that Hajj itself, the pilgrimage, is first of all one of the great pillars of Islam. The second thing is that Hajj is a commemoration or a reenactment of the sacrifices of Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, and his family. Now I want you to keep those two things in mind, because those two things will help you to appreciate some of the rituals that I wanted to go through with you this morning. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, mentions that if Almighty Allah wills good for someone, He will inflict them with trials. And when those trials come, if they're able to remain grounded and they're able to understand that this is for their betterment, those individuals would be elevated. So first of all, the first ritual that I would like to touch upon is the ritual of Sa'i. Sa'i means quite simply to run or to walk briskly or to trot. What is the significance of that particular ritual? Now, this is a ritual that takes place within the actual Hajj itself. The people who are performing Hajj, who are performing the pilgrimage, they tend to perform Sa'i as one of the rituals. A short trot or a jog, as you like, or a brisk walk from one point to another. And again, keep in mind what I mentioned earlier, that every act of Hajj is a reenactment of some sacrifice that Abraham and his family had to make. So Abraham, peace be upon him, woke up one morning and he was ordered by Almighty Allah to take his son and his wife to a deserted spot in the desert, leave them there and to walk away. So this was done, and of course at that particular point in time the wife could not understand why he's leaving them there. He said, "Where are you going?" She said, "Where are you going? Why are you leaving us in this barren valley?" Abraham did not answer her, but he kept walking. And at that point she understood that he was being commanded by Almighty Allah to carry out those particular acts. Of course, when he left his wife and his son at that particular spot, there was no water, there was no one around to help. After some time, the food ran out, the water ran out, and now in her desperation, his wife, she started to run from one point to another. They were left in the valley, there were two hills on either side, and she would run from one hill to the next, searching for assistance, searching for someone that would be there to help them. So this running from one point to another, from one hill to another, is known as Sa'i. And that is the ritual that is performed in Hajj. A reenactment of that particular incident during the life of the Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him. And of course, we know what happened. Almighty Allah delivered them from that particular difficulty, and Almighty Allah continued to bless them with goodness in both worlds. So that is the first ritual. The second ritual is the circling of what is known as the Kaaba. There was a black box that I'm pretty sure if you were to look at videos on YouTube or even on television, you would see people going around counterclockwise, circling that particular structure. That structure is known as the Kaaba. It is the first place of worship that was built upon the face of the earth. Many traditions mention that that particular structure was first built by Prophet Adam, peace be upon him. But then after the ages, it became a bit dilapidated. It was then reconstructed by Abraham, peace be upon him, and his son Ishmael, peace be upon him. After they reconstructed that particular mosque, they then went around and circled that mosque 7 times, again to glorify Allah, to praise Almighty Allah, and to give thanks to the Almighty for all of His blessings and bounties and favors. So again, a reenactment, a commemoration of the actual act or sacrifice that was done by Abraham, peace be upon him. The next ritual is the ritual of offering of the sacrificial animal, which is a great part of the Eid al-Adha celebrations as well. Of course, people who would make the pilgrimage, that is one of the rituals of Hajj, but it is also one of the acts that are carried out across the globe as part of the celebrations for Eid al-Adha. And of course, like I would have mentioned earlier, he saw this dream that he was sacrificing his son, and then Almighty Allah said to him that, look, you know what, don't sacrifice your son, sacrifice this ram instead. And of course, because of his willingness to carry out the command of Allah, Almighty Allah became so happy that Almighty Allah kept that particular memory alive, in that every person who performs the Hajj every year will offer a sacrificial animal to the Almighty. Every person who has within himself the capacity, the financial capacity to carry out that particular ritual as part of the celebrations of Eid al-Adha should definitely do so. The fourth ritual is known as the stoning of the Jamarat. The Jamarat are pillar-like structures, 3 pillar-like structures. So the people who are performing the pilgrimage, they are required to throw stones at these 3 pillar-like structures in the city of Mecca. What do they signify? Why do they have to throw stones at these pillar-like structures? Well, again, it commemorates an act that was done by the Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him. While he was on the journey with his son to carry out that order of Almighty Allah, the order of offering his son in sacrifice, on that journey from their home to that spot of sacrifice, they were visited by the shaitan, by the devil, on 3 separate occasions. He came and he tried to convince them not to carry out that particular order. He tried to convince them to stay away from fulfilling the command of Allah. And on all 3 occasions, Abraham, peace be upon him, was able to repel the shaitan. He was able to repel Satan and repel the devil by throwing stones at him literally. So those 3 spots along that particular journey have been preserved, and in today's era, a pillar-like structure has been constructed. And again, the reenactment of that particular act. He was successful in driving away the Satan by stoning him, literally stoning him during the season of Hajj. That is one of the rituals of Hajj. The people who would perform the pilgrimage, who would perform the Hajj, they would then have to now stone that particular pillar to commemorate the stoning of the Satan that was done by the Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him. So all in all, Hajj itself is a very, very spiritual journey. And if you hear from people who would have made that journey before, people who would be coming back from that particular journey, they would all say the same thing to you, that it is a very soothing, very comforting, and very spiritually uplifting journey. May Almighty Allah bless us. May Almighty Allah make it easy upon us. Those of us who have not been, may Almighty Allah make it easy that we can also at some point in our lives make that very spiritual journey to the Holy Lands. Once again, Eid Mubarak going out to you and yours. May the full blessings of Almighty Allah be upon you and your family. And may Almighty Allah continue to make this day a day of blessing, a day of mercy, and a day of forgiveness upon each and every single one of us.
Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak. It is Friday, this is the best day. Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak. Waking up in the morning, got the special Friday feeling. Getting ready in my best clothes now. My juba looking crisp, going all out. Jumping my ride to the masjid. Hearing the khutbah, it's a blessing. Now we're standing in the saf and we're praying. Then I greet our kids with assalamu alaikum. Friday is here and it is the best of days. When we go to the masjid and we all pray. There are blessings on this special day. Thank you Allah, thank you for this day. Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak. It is Friday, this is the best day. Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak. Friday soon as I lockdown, looking fresh with my miswan. Reading Surah Al-Kahf on a Friday and sending salawat on the Prophet, peace be upon him. Friday is here and it is the best of days, when we go to the masjid and we all pray. There are blessings on this special day. Thank you, Allah. Thank you for this day. Jummah, Jummah Mubarak. Jummah, Jummah Mubarak. Jummah, Jummah Mubarak. It is Friday. This is
Yes, indeed. Jummah Mubarak going out to you and yours. Eid Mubarak as well going out to you and yours. Of course, tomorrow will be the day of Eid, Eid al-Adha, which of course is known to be the greater of the two Eids. Of course, there is Eid al-Fitr, which takes place after the month of Ramadan. Eid al-Adha, which takes place during this particular period of the year, the 10th day of the 12th month on the Islamic calendar. Eid Mubarak going out to you and yours. May your day, your weekend be filled with blessings and mercies of the Almighty, and may Almighty Allah deliver us to a higher ground of spirituality. Well, as we're now coming to the end of the program for this morning, I want to take the opportunity to say a very special thank you going out to the sponsors. The program this morning has been brought to you through the kind courtesies of Adams Project Management and Construction Limited, Absolute Investments Limited, Nicer Brand Products Limited, The Original Barbecue Hut Limited, Trinilink Solutions Limited, and Point 14 Hardware Limited. I also want to take the opportunity as well to say special salams and greetings of peace. Eid Mubarak, Ramadan, Jummah Mubarak going out to you and yours, to all of our listeners who would have joined us on the program this morning, to everyone who would have messaged. Thank you so much for your beautiful messages, and I say right back at you as well. Of course, it was an absolute pleasure to be in your company over the past hour or so. By all means, you can catch me next week Friday from 5 a.m. as we bring to you another segment of Soul Inspirations, your program for inspiration, information, education, and entertainment. I'm your host and brother in humanity, Imam Safraz Ghani, signing out for this morning. Until next week, please have an extremely blessed day, a blessed weekend. Once again, Jummah Mubarak, Eid Mubarak going out to you and yours. Stay safe, stay in the mercy of Almighty Allah. Up next is News at 6, followed by Prabhat. Definitely do keep it locked on to 103.1 FM for more inspirational and motivational programming throughout the course of today. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Mountains of Mecca, what can you say of the day that Abraham passed your way? And he was instructed by God to build a house of peace where people will pray, and they will come on every lean camel and out of every ravine, for the purpose of praising Allah, to glorify Allah. O mountains of Mecca, what can you tell of the day that stones from the sky fell, destroying an army determined to break the house of Allah that Abraham built? O mountains of Mecca, how was the dawn on the day that my prophet Muhammad was born? How did it feel knowing he was to be the last and most beloved of all, Rasul of Allah, Nabi of Allah? O mountains of Mecca, you